Alright, Charan Jian with awesome alchemy and another download to get some more truth and clarity on Bindu point. So Bindu point, or essentially we call the crown chakra or the Pituitary gland. So ideally we're all trying to get high in consciousness in some way, depending on how we do it. Like, whether they use drugs or meditation or yoga or whatever's expansive, and we're all trying to get higher. It's just a natural process in our body's homeostasis. We're all trying to get back to source. What's source? Well, this point up here. Source of all life, where our first nervous system has all been awakened and created. So, in each spiritual tradition around the world, we have some sort of tradition or that we use for this point. So in Hindu or in different places in India and cultures, they use a turban to cover it up. They use a yarmulke in the Jewish tradition, and also in Buddhist culture we don't really touch children on this point because it's the most sensitive point of the nervous system and the endocrine or chakra system as well. So why do we cover that up? Well, first of all, that's one of the first points that people start to go bald in. Right, so we know it's not a good look. But also, it's the part of the body that is least grown and takes a long time to form. And of course, when we're babies, especially when we're lying down so much, we have a point on that point where it's not fully formed as part of the skull. And that's of course where a lot of our behavior patterns and our instincts and things come from. But why do we cover it up? Now that my nervous and immune system and also chakra or endocrine gland system is connected that part up already, and I'm connecting it through the base of the spine, I'm starting to see through the sacral and coccyx gland in particular. I'm starting to see through the spiritual traditions whether there's any truth in it or not, according to our understanding of Mother Nature. And I generally get most of those answers in cellular biology and microbiology. You can only get the answers for truth when you have clear circuitry through your own body, through those microenvironments. So, is it a good idea to cover up your head? No, not at all. Light, projected light through the body. We are light beings. So if we're covering up this part, then we don't get sunlight on that part, which essentially burns or fixes up viruses, fungus and parasites, other microbiology, which therefore means we don't have the higher consciousness available up to this point in the body. So how can covering that point up, which creates more sweat and moisture and a lack of light, be beneficial? I'm not seeing it. Like every time, yourself in your own life is when you go to the beach or when you're out in nature, or if you climb a mountain, you're on the top of a hill, then you start receiving more messages and more good ideas of, our guidance system is more aligned. So then you start to get those, oh, I should do this. Oh, I should, talk to this person, or I should maybe have that better conversation, fix up relationships, these sorts of things. When we're feeling calm, clear, and relaxed, because we have either more oxygen or ozone when we're up high, or we have a more grounded sense of ourselves and our clearer direction on what we should do when we're at the beach or in nature, and calm and relaxed instead of stressed all the time, which doesn't seem to work out that well. So, other examples are in nature. It's like, okay, you don't get too much microorganisms on the sand because it's got a lot of minerals there and it's not a lot of place to grow. But here in the bush, say in a rainforest type environment, we get lots of mold and lichen and moss that is growing, and we grow hair to find a little nervous system antennae to get those messages. And also you'll notice that people who have a lot of hair on their body, we generally associate with ape-like. It's generally not as attractive. Generally the hairless body is considered most beautiful by most cultures. Why is that? It's because they get their messages for themselves and their body's in a better condition with less microbiology. You look at people who, we have that common phrase, well, oh, this part when it's bald and doesn't have hair is a solar panel for a sex machine. Yeah. Oh, hang on. Solar panel for the bottom half of the nervous system, for the sex machine, which is your sacral gland or your reproductive system, which generally is where a lot of our gunk is stored. It's just simple density. Stuff grows there because there's not a nervous and immune system function to identify it and to fix it up. So as a result, we come up with different delusional perspectives of stuff that wasn't there from birth. It's a learned behavior from mold, moss, lichen, all these different things, and fungal microbiome that are in that area effectively controlling the brain, because we don't have defined muscle and a nervous and immune system through there to find that part of consciousness that is in that particular natural environment. So for mine, that whole also the whole story of Samson and Delilah cutting his hair, yeah, it does give you a bigger antenna, absolutely. But is that absolutely necessary for picking up your own messages from the light around you? Because if we can get more light through here, then we can fix up those little viruses and microbiology things that are on the top of the brain, which is generally in most people, in fact very few, actually awakened. Yeah, so you need ground chakra consciousness to be able to understand and get these messages. So, headwear, spiritual flavored headwear. Another fluffy spiritual delusion that doesn't stand up to Mother Nature. Gone!